Hello, welcome to the first year BHM course of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. I'm Dr. Indrajit Bose and I shall be your course coordinator for this session. This paper is entitled Business Communication with a paper code of BHM N102. This is lecture 15 in the series and it is based on job applications and CVs. You know that in the course of this this paper, we have been looking at various aspects of the work that you'll be doing in the future in the hospital and healthcare sector. So we have been looking at various aspects of functional grammar. We have looked at different types of written communication and also different types of spoken communication, including interaction with patients and clients and other people. Now, today's lecture on job applications and CV writing is essentially career oriented, and the ability to draft a good job application and well-made CV is certainly a desirable prerequisite for all of us in order to stand any chance in the competition in the job market. So a good CV is an indispensable marketing tool that you will find when you become a full-fledged professional. So we shall be sharing certain ideas regarding that. Now, before we start, I think it would be good to begin by looking at certain aims and expectations which we all of us have when we apply for a job. Now, there are two sides of the picture. You, as a prospective candidate, have certain expectations in your mind. That's correct? Right. So, you dream of working in a large multi-specialty hospital, maybe, or you dream of working somewhere big in the healthcare sector. So you have some idea regarding an ideal job. That's correct, isn't it? Yes. So what is your dream job? You dream of working in a large organization with advanced facilities for medical care and good facilities, upgraded facilities for workers and for patients and others. Obviously, the job that you think of will be a well-paid one with a reasonably good salary and other perquisites. Also, I think you imagine that working for a couple of years in this position, you will gather enough experience in order to function as a more efficient and competent professional in the years to come. I think that's right. So you think of gathering skills and experience and becoming a more skilled, a more competent professional in future years. Also, obviously, the job will bring new challenges, new opportunities for learning, for mastering new skills, new technologies, and you will become more efficient and upgraded. Also, as part of an employee working in a large organization, you maybe think of absorbing various aspects of the work culture of that organization. Let's say that you think of joining Fortis Hospital or Escorts Hospital or Tata Memorial or any other large organization. Now, all these organizations have got certain common features, of course, but they have certain features of their working operations their management strategies, the way in which they function, which are really specific to their organizations. So that is something that you will get a feel of once you join. So maybe you have got dreams in your eyes and hope in your heart, and you think that one day you will definitely join these organizations as an employee and be a part of that work culture. I think this is an idea that all of us at some point of time have. And these expectations are converted into reality once you really manage to land that job. So, this is one side of the picture, the expectations that we have as prospective candidates before we apply for a job. We think that the job is the key to the future and that it will unlock all these opportunities in the future for us. There is also, however, another side to the picture, sorry, which is what we often don't think of. But certainly there is this other side, that is the expectations of the organizations themselves where we are thinking of applying or where we apply. So there are their expectations also. So what do they want? What exactly are they searching for? I think there are certain basic things that they look for in all candidates. They want a competent professional. By competent professional, I mean a person who has undergone the necessary period of training and has passed the requisite exams after completing the course and is ready to take up work responsibilities. So they want somebody to look after their day-to-day running and also to undertake bigger and bigger responsibilities and challenges as they might come. Also, they're looking for somebody dynamic, versatile, ready to handle all kinds of emergencies which might crop up at the workplace from time to time. Also, somebody who is willing to multitask. Nowadays, even though it's the age of specialization, we have to function very efficiently all the time. So that necessarily involves a bit of multitasking. So necessarily somebody who can do this. And obviously who can think innovatively or think out of the box, as it is called. And somebody who can maintain good contacts with your existing client base and also forge new contacts with others, which will be converted into long standing relationships in the future. So, these are some of the expectations that organizations also have from us. So, where do you think these two, the candidate's expectations and the company's expectations, they merge somewhere? So where do you think they meet? Well, obviously they do meet at some point because it is at this meeting point of these two, or the point of coalescence between the candidate's expectations and the company's expectations from the candidate, that we get the materialization of the job or position. So if your aspirations and the expectations that the company has from you as the suitable candidate, if they match somewhere, then you will be fine. You will be able to fill that position. This is what you will find. So till that is achieved, we have to keep striving to get the job or to open up the future prospects. So how do we then go about looking for the job? Or in other words, how to engage in the job search? Now, obviously, we are looking for a job in a suitable sector and preferred location. And the job that we are looking for is a job which calls for the kind of work and the kind of experience to which we have already been exposed to in the course of our education and training. So that's what we are looking for, a job in the field that we have chosen with the kind of specialization that we have worked towards, and in the particular sector which we are aspiring to enter, in the preferred location that we have selected as convenient and possible for us. All locations may not be possible for us all the time. Now, where will you start looking for this job, given the fact that you are searching for a job like this? So where will you search, or where will you begin this searching process at all? Obviously, you will begin with the newspapers. And the relevant pages in the newspapers where job prospects are given, or advertisements regarding various positions and vacancies are there, so you have to search for them. In the newspaper like the Times of India, for example, there's the Ascent, which is the supplement on Wednesdays, which has all kinds of information about different kinds of jobs and positions. Similarly with other newspapers. You can also go to the company site or the web pages of the company, and there you will find a section called careers or openings. And once you go to that section, you will be directed to the positions or jobs which are advertised, and you can see whether you fit the requirements or not. Also, there can be social media posts regarding jobs, and you get a lot of information from these posts as well, which are circulated from time to time. So you might get the conventional sources of information about jobs from newspapers, journals, and magazines, but you will also get information from websites and from social media messages and posts. Now, once you have got the information about the job or position, the next thing that you have to do is to apply. And how to apply for that job. Now, there can be two kinds of applications for jobs, actually. One is solicited, in which the organization has asked for applicants to send in applications for that position. The other one is unsolicited, in which there is no such specific advertisement, but you are sending in an application all the same, in the hope that it will also be considered. Now, how do we apply? Now, once we start this application process, we have to draft an application letter together with a CV and send that either as a hard copy letter or else as an email with the CV or resume as an attachment. We can also apply online, by which I mean that there is an online application form which we can fill in online and send it across to the organization within the stipulated date. Now, all these application processes are, of course, time bound. So you have to look carefully at the timeline or the last date which is mentioned in the advertisement. Nowadays, people also sometimes send a short video CV, which is a kind of a brief introduction, self-introduction, in which they talk about themselves, their backgrounds, and their careers and specializations. So it is usually a very short one of around 1.5 or 2 minutes, or even a minute long. So that is sent as a soft copy together with the job application. Additionally, one can also go in for a walk-in interview. Now, the walk-in interview is a direct interview in which invited candidates can attend, or really anybody can attend, because there is no prior screening in this walk-in interview, and other kinds of selection are really bypassed over here, and you don't have any written exam to give or any group discussion or any other kind of selection. This interview itself is the first and the final selection procedure, and that will really determine whether the person is selected or not. So these are some of the ways in which one can apply. Once we start this application process, the first stage obviously is the screening of the job application itself. Now, once you look at the job application, please read that application very carefully and look at the language and the requirements which are stipulated over there. For example, if it is mentioned that the job needs a qualified professional, that means that somebody who is at least a graduate or has got a postgraduate or a higher degree with relevant working experience. So if somebody is totally new and has no experience at all, then it's difficult to accept that person as a qualified professional. Or if it is mentioned postgraduate from a recognized university in the advertisement, then you need to have just that. And any other type of thing you may have will not really fix the bill. So if you are a graduate from a university in India, then I think a postgraduate from recognized university is a post which you will is a requirement which you will not be able to fulfill at all. So you need to have that degree. If it asks for several years of hands-on experience and you are a fresher with no experience at all, then it is not applicable. Or if you have got inadequate experience, several years as mentioned, so you have got just 1 or 2 years of experience, well, again, you do not fit. So you should read the job specifications and the person specifications which are given in the job advertisement very, very carefully. So look at the person specification. What sort of qualifications are asked for? What sort of experience, especially the kind of experience that is relevant for the job? What sort of skill set is required for the job? Other desirable qualifications and skills. What sort of other qualifications are required? What sort of personal qualities would be fitting and appropriate in a job like this? And what sort of abilities to conform to the work culture? You will get the answers to all these questions if you read the person attributes and the job requirements carefully. Even if it is not always there in black and white, from the information that is conveyed to you, I think you can get an inkling or you can get an approximate idea of what the company or what the organization really wants and how you will be able to serve them. So these are certain aspects of the candidate profile which are demarcated by the organization. And you have to understand that carefully before you apply for the job. Okay, what is next? The next stage obviously is the drafting of the job application letter. The job application letter very simply is the letter written applying for a post or position, and it is the letter written in response to the job posting. Now, what's the purpose of this kind of letter? The purpose is to highlight the applicant's skills, qualifications and experience, suitability for the job, and of course to make a formal application for the job. Now, the format of this sort of letter is that of the formal letter or official letter. And together with this letter, the CV or the resume is also enclosed. Okay, so once you have selected the job advertisement, then you are ready to apply for the job. Then what you do is to look at the person's specifications very carefully in the job and see whether you fit them or not. Then you can send in or reply to the job advertisement by putting in an application. Now that can be of various types, but writing a letter or email in response to the job posting is of course something that is obviously necessary. Okay, now the writing of the job application letter. Uh, once you have decided that you are going to apply, so you need to write the letter. Now, I will be looking at the different parts of the letter. You can follow the block format or modified block format, whichever one you prefer. but you need to have a sharp and specific subject line. So what can be the subject line of a letter like this? Okay, let's just look at a few sample subject lines. For example, application for the post of hospital supervisor at Escott Hospital. This is one subject line. Applying for the post of managerial executive, Fortis Hospital. Applying for the post of junior manager, sales at Seba Eye Hospital. Application for the post of floor manager, Pragati Health Foundation. So what we find over here, that the post that is specified is specially highlighted or marked out. The section or department in which the candidate hopes to join, that is also marked out, or it is indicated in some way, and obviously the name of the organization, either in full or in abbreviation, is indicated. So we have the post, the section, the organization. These are three things which are specified in the subject line to the job application letter. Okay, so what is next? Let us see. Yeah, this is the body of that letter. And it talks about the qualifications and skills of the candidate and the relevant exposure that the candidate has got, and also talks about other skill sets. So in other words, the suitability of the candidate for the job in various ways is demonstrated by the application letter. So let us see. So I'm reading out from the sample letter which is provided here. I am a 21 years old BHM graduate from SMIT Durgapur and have done 3 months of industrial training at the Tata Memorial Hospital in the customer care division. I have sufficient exposure to hospital operations and knowledge of both medical services and accounts management and systems maintenance. I am additionally well versed in Landsys software and skilled in people management. I am willing to multitask. I'm willing to multitask, to work long shifts, and possess good interpersonal skills, besides being a good communicator in English, Bengali, Hindi, and Oriya. Now, I have not read out from the opening of this letter. With reference to the advertisement published in the Times of India, 4th July 2019, for the position of Operations Executive in EAL, that is Escort Hospital Limited, I would like to apply for the same. Okay. So reference to the job posting or advertisement that is there in the opening of this letter. Then what we have in the body of the letter is the highlighting of the candidate's suitability for this kind of job, exposure, relevant exposure that the candidate has got, and various skill sets which are there and which the candidate then goes on to describe. Then in the closing of this letter, there is a formal application for this post and the request for an opportunity to get an interview. So I'm reading out once again from the sample letter. Given my qualifications, experience, and exposure, I hope to have demonstrated my suitability for the job. Kindly allow me an opportunity of serving you by giving me a chance to attend the interview round. So hoping to hear from you soon. Sincerely yours, Ravinch Kumar. Now, I'm sure you must be wondering why I have shown you the picture of this forest. But actually, this is the road to the future that you can see over here. And there are a few lines from the poet Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a wood. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So basically, there are two roads. One of them is easy, the other one is not so easy, or it is hard. Now, which one you will take, that will depend on your vision of the future, and let us say that how you see yourself as developing or demarcating the future for yourself, what career path you choose. So it might happen that you might choose a career path which is off the beaten track. So everybody follows the same track. Okay, so that is very stereotyped. But maybe you choose something different, so that is off the beaten track. So naturally, you will have a different kind of journey if you follow a different track rather than following in the conventional journey that everybody is taking. So this is what is meant, okay, by the roads diverging and which one you take. So it's a challenging and difficult time in which you will have to decide various things and take different kinds of decisions. Okay, so the job application letter is ready. Now, once that is ready, we have to think of drafting the CV which will accompany the job application letter. Now, there is a basic difference, or there are some basic or fundamental differences between the CV and the resume over here, which I would like to just point out before you go and actually draft the CV. Now, both of these, CV and resume, are similar because they both give the profile of a candidate. Okay, so the candidate's profile is given by both CV and resume. The content part also is more or less the same, except that we have the candidate's name, contact details, qualification, and experience over there. And we might have a little additional content in the resume, which is not there in the CV. Now, what is the main difference is in the format or the arrangement of the sections, the nature of the details which are required, the typographical details and other things. Now, in terms of formatting and in terms of layout or arrangement, there are some differences between the arrangement of the sections and the sections themselves in the CV and the resume. In fact, in the resume, there is a separate section called the summary of strength section, which is not there in the CV. Also, there is some differences in the layout of the resume. In fact, the opening part of the resume itself is a bit different, and also the references at the end in the resume are given in a different kind of arrangement from that of the CV. So there are some differences, okay? But as far as style is concerned, there is specific vocabulary and terminology. So in fact, there is a parallelism of phrases and constructions between the CV and the resume. So there are stylistic similarities, but there are formatting differences between the CV and the resume. And the content part, however, remains more or less the same. Now, here is a contrastive study of the CV and the resume. Now, the CV is a basic summary of education and achievements, or in other words, it's a straightforward summary, whereas the resume is more skills focused. Okay? And it gives a bulleted list of items in the different sections. Achievements are also highlighted when they bring out different skill areas. Okay, so the resume is skills focused in a different kind of way from the CV. Now, how to prepare the CV? Once you sit down to prepare the CV, now I will tell you the instructions which are useful for you when you prepare it on MS Word. So it's better to prepare or to learn about preparing the CV by thinking of drafting it as a Word document, not just a handwritten document, because a professional CV is never handwritten. It's always typewritten or a word processed document. Now, you take an A4 sheet of paper and leave margins of 1 inch on the top and from the sides. Then write the words curriculum vitae in bold caps at the center of the margin at the top. Then write the candidate's name and personality details. Then write down the details of nationality, date of birth, and the full address. Now this includes the permanent address first and then the local address next. Now, what is the difference between permanent and local addresses? Yes. So, in case you didn't know, I'm telling you, the permanent address is your home address. Now, in case the place where you are staying at the moment is different from your home, it has got a different address, but that is your local address. And if you have two addresses, that is both permanent and local, it is still advisable that you first write the permanent address, which is your long-standing home address, and then you write your local address. Also, please don't forget to include other details like the contact number, email, fax, WhatsApp, and so on. So all kinds of details should be mentioned. Okay, what is next in the drafting of the CV? Now, the next what comes is something very vital, that is the career aim. Now, we can begin the CV by writing an aim which begins with to serve as a. Like, for example, suppose I'm applying for a job as a marketing executive, or suppose I'm applying for a job as an admissions officer, okay, in a large hospital. Now, I would write my career aim as to serve as a dynamic and efficient operations manager in a large multi-specialty hospital. Okay? So this indicates not only that I am in the multi-specialty hospital sector, I am in public care, and I am a qualified professional. Okay? All these things are indicated, but your career aim should be a short one-line statement, which includes three things. One is the phrase to serve as a. The second is the reference to the job, the particular job for which you are applying. And the third one is the sector to which you are applying. For example, to serve as a dynamic training engineer in automation in the heavy manufacturing industry sector. So this is for an engineering candidate. For you, the hospital management executive, the career aim might be somewhat different, but you will have to begin like to serve as a, and then go on to your job position, and then the sector or the department where you are applying. So you make the career aim. What is next? Now next comes something which is very vital, that is the table of educational qualifications. Now, once you have decided to give the table of educational qualifications, it should be properly given. So how will you design that table? So it's just like any other table. You include columns like the year of passing, the exam, the institute, the board or university, percentage of marks, and class. Now, the manner of writing or filling in this table is like this. We think of our lastly obtained results first and our first obtained results last. So we follow actually the cross chronological order. So you may have completed your graduation exams in 2009. Now, if you have done that, then you will need to give that first, and other details like here it is given BTech in EE from SMIT. The university is Roorkee University, percentage of marks is 84.3%. Then in 2005, the candidate passed the HS exam from TPS Roorkee, the board of HSE UP with 80% marks. And in 2003, the candidate passed out from DPS Roorkee, the Board of Secondary Education, with 89% marks. So what we find is that the first result comes last and the last result comes first in this arrangement. There is, in other words, a cross chronological order in the arrangement of the entries in this table. And the table contains all the information that is relevant and to the point regarding the candidate. Now, you can also mention the class in the last column at the end of the table. Now, please do remember that you have to maintain the cross chronological order whenever you are writing the academic qualifications in this table, and also here and in the resume, where you are not giving it in the form of a table, but it is there in bulleted entries. So you need to follow the cross chronological order, and the percentages can be calculated up to 2 decimal points. And try to be accurate as far as possible in the figures, the percentages, and the other details relating to your exams or marks. Because if there are discrepancies, then later there might be some serious action which should be taken against the candidate who has applied, because that person is trying to represent himself or herself falsely. So be careful with giving the exact kind of details that are fully true and reliable. Now, after this section comes the other achievements section. So this is a miscellaneous section, includes various things like hobbies and interests, prizes that are won, or languages that are known, skills of other kinds, or any other interest. In fact, it is a miscellaneous section. You can put in anything and everything that you like. For example, for this candidate, in the year 2008, got a first prize inter-college debate, and it was awarded by the Debaters Club. So please do mention the year in which you have got the certificate or prize or whatever it is, and mention the name of the prize and for what you won the prize, and then you give the awarding body or institution also. In 2007, he won the tennis championship, and he got the award, the Lawn Tennis Club. In 2005, he was awarded the first prize in the Scrabble Championship, which was organized by the Witmakers Association. So there are different kinds of achievements. I'm sure if you start to think about your own achievements, you will find a whole lot of achievements which you have not been thinking of. So actually, you see, the more we add to these achievements or other interests or skills of the candidate, the more diversified the profile of the candidate tends to become. And the more diversified it is, the more the selection authorities will take an interest in the kind of person with varied interests and abilities that the candidate is. So it adds a dash of color, or it adds some extra edge to your candidature for the job if you are able to mention these details or extra details or qualifications about yourself. So that's the value of this section. And again, remember that it should be in the cross chronological order, and you need to give all these specific details regarding who was the awarding authority, what kind of prize it was, which year you got it, and so on. Then comes the last section, where we give the references. The references section actually includes the names and contact details of our referees, those whom we regard as our referees, people in high stature who can give references about the candidate if they are asked. Now, over here, the format is that first I include the name and designation of the person who is going to provide a reference about me, and then give the contact details, including phone, email, and the postal address. So this is what we are going to have over here. Like, for example, this candidate has given 3 references. So giving up to 3 references is the optimum number. So you can give up to 3. So he's mentioned 3 references: Professor G.R. Pereira, Principal, Indian Institute of Accountants, ICT, Parel, Mumbai. Then the phone number and the email are given. Then W. D. Souza, Principal, Bombay Scottish, 27 Newbury Lines, Mumbai. Then the cell phone number and email. Then Dr. S. Bahuguna of the Tata Memorial Hospital, Mumbai, cell phone number and email. So they are all given over there. The references are given, and what we end with in the writing of the CV is obviously the signature and the date. So the signature of the candidate at the bottom right hand corner, the date in the left hand corner, and that is the end of the CV. Now, the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that when you are a fresher candidate applying for a job, then please remember that your CV should not be more than 1 page long. Okay, so this is a basic thing. The selection authorities will not be reading your CV if it is more than 1 page. So try to keep your CV within 1 page. Okay, and follow the formatting style and conventions very carefully. So I think I have been able to elucidate to you the way that you look for a job, how to search for a job, and write the job application letter, and also to write the CV, which is sent along with the job application letter to apply for a particular job. So I hope that this will help you a lot in your future endeavors. So from me, there is best of luck, and we will be meeting again soon. Bye.